Very good evening to all of you. And today will be our day 28. SABBASAVA Sutta's another method will be discussed today. Last Monday we discussed about how to use tolerance, patience to overcome certain akusalas, asavas. Today we'll be discussing about avoidance. Avoidance will be the topic. I would say the method. As you can see, the Pali word here is Parivajjana. Let's try to read the text first. Katamecha bhikkhave asava Parivajjana Pahatabba. Ida bhikkhave bhikkhu patisankha yoniso chandang hatting parivajjeti chandang assang parivajjeti chandang gonang parivajjeti chandang kukkurang parivajjeti ahing kanu kantakattanang sobbang papatang chandanikang oligallang yatha rupe anasane nisinnang yatha rupe agochare charantang yatha rupe papake mitte bhajantang vinyu sabbrahmachari papakesu dhanesu okappeyum so tancha anasanang tancha agocharam te cha papake mitte patisankha yonisu parivajjeti yan hissa bhikkhave aparivajjayatu uppajjeyung asava vighata parilaha parivajjayatu evansa te asava vighata parilaha na honti ime vucchanti bhikkhave asava parivajjana pahatabba. Sometimes feel that the TVs are not good enough for text. BME might buy a projector one day, two big projectors with screens on the both side to see these letters. Otherwise for you it might be a little difficult to see. How are we going to get started this section? Avoiding. Now I think we discussed about certain things before. If you can remember that I actually shared with you that it is not good to avoid. I would say walk away from your sensory experiences. Did I share that before? Yeah, many times. I shared that many times. That means it's not good to walk away from the sensory experiences. But here it says there are certain exemptions that you may have to avoid certain animals and certain people, otherwise you will make some akusala. This is a very, what you call, I would say, very interesting area that we have to understand. But the whole idea is about we have to encounter, we have to face our sensory experiences. Not that we walk away, we need to shut down our senses, we need to switch off our senses, we need to open up. But here, this is a particular, exclusive area of that sensory experience where you will avoid certain things, animals, things, and some people. We will first understand the basis. Katamecha bhikkhave asava parivajjana. The Pali word is parivajjana. Parivajjana. What does vajjana means? Vajjana, anybody has encountered this Pali word anywhere? It's too small, huh? Parivajjana. Vajjana means? Yeah, verb vajjati. Avoid. Have you ever found out this term anywhere else? There is a seat over here. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Have you ever found out this Pali word anywhere else? Not so far. Okay. So vajjeti means to avoid. That means there are certain ways of avoiding under this sensory perception. Now here, ida bhikkhave bhikkhu patisankayoniso, but that avoiding has to be done with wise attention. Not that I avoid people. I avoid people like this, That you do it with wise attention. Not even wise attention. Patisanka yoniso. Patisanka. That means due consideration. You do it with due consideration. Now, who are we going to avoid? That's interesting, huh? We will see who they are. Who are we going to avoid? As you can see here, the first animal, Chandang Hatting. Chanda means, as you can see, wild. A wild elephant. How do we understand in our life? Wild elephant. That means if somebody is going on a trip and that person gets to find out that there are some wild elephants on the road, he or she should not take a risk and to continue that road, thinking that I will do some metta to the elephants. It's not a good idea, right? So wild elephant, you can see, Chandang Hatting. Hatti means elephant, Chanda means wild. Not a domesticated, elephants are not domesticated, right? Wild. Then the second one is, you can do Parivajjeti. Avoid a wild elephant with due consideration and wise attention. Again, Chanda means wild, Assang, horse. Chandang Assang, Parivajji. Let's say there is a wild horse on the road, so you are not going to go on that road, you are going to avoid. Then Chandang Gonang, wild bull, right? Chandang Gonang. Then Chandang Kukkurang. Kukkura means a dog. If there is a wild dog, then you are going to avoid that road. Then Ahing, snake. If there is a snake, I would say a poisonous snake. And then Kanu. Kanu means a stump. Maybe it could be a tree that was probably something of the tree was removed and now there is a stump. Because now this was given in a sense that somebody is walking on the road. At that time there were no automobiles like today. Probably if there were some such automobiles that somebody might cover the whole body, then the list could have been changed, right? Because I don't think, well, it's still the elephants can attack horses, but snake, a dog might not be able to attack. But this list was given according to the time. Stump. That means at that time there was no light, no power. So let's say monks are walking on these roads, so they might step onto the stump and then they feel like there is something prickly, and then stuck into his legs, right? Then the other Pali word is Kanu means stump. Kantakattana, that means a bramble patch. A bramble patch is kind of a prickly shrub. Probably you might see when you are going on to certain areas of the forest, there are some areas where you see the prickly shrubs that are really thorny, right? You might encounter them. So that means if they are as such on the road, monks are going to, now initially given to the monks, they're going to avoid. Now why Buddha asks them to avoid these places? What's the problem? Not to step onto a bramble patch or a stump? What is the initial feeling when somebody, is, having this kind of an experience with a bramble patch, maybe a prickly thing? The pain, once the pain comes, then dosa arises. When you have pain, whatever the pain. Now, this could go on a scale. Huh? They ask, what is your pain level on a scale of 1 to 10? Huh? The doctors ask. I say, 8. So bad. Huh? And you could say, this pain is actually coming from dosa. So if your mind, if your thoughts are not well trained, dosa is very natural, easily come. Then that is why the Buddha asked to avoid these areas. Now somebody might think, what's the problem? I'm going to step on a bramble patch, prickly shrub. I will practice anicca. that's kind of a very bold move, but it is not advisable. Then the other one is sobbang. Sobbang means a chasm. What is a chasm? You see in some deep narrow ends of mountains, maybe some other places, right? You would see those very interesting places. We'll find out one chasm on internet. As you probably might know. So these chasms, if the road has these chasms, they have to avoid because you might fall. Right? You can see these places, something like this. This is a chasm. Yeah. Anyways, that is called sobbang. Sobbang. Then papatang. Papatang means cliff. Definitely. If sobbang is not encouraged, then so is the cliff. Then the word, these are very famous words in Pali Suttas. Chandanikang oligallang. Chandanikam means these are two sewages. One is a cesspool, the other one is a sewage with drainage. Now you can see here, we call it Chandanikaya. As you can see, cesspool, and oligalla means an open sewer. Normally, oligalla is used to keep the water, drainage, I would say, sewage in a city for short term. Now, I would like to tell you something interesting about these two words, which are related to dana. I think I shared with you this long time ago. One man came to the Buddha and said, Brahmin, Bhante, people are blaming you outside. Then the Buddha asked why. Then he said, you have given some Dhamma talks as to the best person to give the dana. So whenever you want to give a dana, you should only give it to me, not to other teachers. Who were the famous other teachers at that time? Can you remember them? The famous reputed teachers. We call them pre-Buddhist teachers. These are Shramana tradition teachers. Shramana. You know what happened in India, right? 1,500 years ago, before the Buddha's time, we go to 1500 BC. Now Buddha was 6 BC. BCE, right? Yeah, BC. We understand that there was the Brahmin tradition. Took roots in India. So that means they believed in certain things. What did they believe? This tradition, the Brahmins, they initially believed, what did they believe? The 1500 BC. That means almost almost 1,400 years before the Buddha's time, many centuries before. So they initially believed that that there is anthropomorphism. That's a little deeper word for you. Anthropomorphism means that every object, it could be temperature, it could be natural things, they have a certain god, right? They believe so. They said Agni. Agni means fire is a god. Fire is a god. Then they said rain. They said there is a god called Parjanya. This is not Buddhism, huh? I just want to give you some, don't worry. I just want to give you some background about these teachers. And then they said there are two gods for the sun. One is Savitru. This is the dawn. And then the Surya, sun. As such, all these natural phenomena were attributed to certain gods. Then, as the time passes by, they found out there are no many gods, there is only one god. So we call them, this is called polytheism. Then they found out monotheism. Who is that? Mahabrahma. They come to this point. By this time, we call it, this is Hinduism, this is classic Hinduism. They found out, another group found out, if we want to attain liberation, we cannot go through somebody. Because they believed that it is our soul that is connected to the Mahabrahma when we die. That is the Nirvana. And then many other groups, they thought, we call them Aranyaka and Upanishad. These groups thought it is not by connecting our whatever we have inside to another person that we can attain Nibbana. It is looking within that we can find out certain things. As an extension of this thought, these teachers came up. Who are they? Purana Kassapa. Purana Kassapa, very famous teacher who had a lot of followers. Makkali Gosala. Then, anybody knows the names? Ajita Kesa Kambala. Pakuda Kachayana. Nigantanatha Putta. Mahavira. Some scholars believe that Buddhism also came from him, because in Jainism there are also 28 Mahaviras, like the 28 Buddhas. Even if you go to a Jain temple in India, Mahavira is like the Buddha. Mahavira's statue is exactly the Buddha, because none of us has seen the Buddha in true life. So they also think that Buddha statue might have come from Mahavira's statue. It's interesting, huh? One day if you go to a Jain temple, you can see Mahavira. See? You don't see any difference, huh? It's pretty interesting. Mahavira. Buddha. So they suspect the Buddha statues, structure that was copied by Gandharians and Gandhara and Mathura traditions. Of course, in the Afghanistan, Gandhara means Afghanistan now, they have made their base from Mahavira. Anyways, after Sanjaya Bellatti Buddha. All right. So, but there is one difference. He does not wear anything. that's different. So Nigantas, Jainism, they believe that not wearing clothes is a practice. Why don't they wear clothes? Tell me. They say we are going to overcome the attachment to the dress. We can try that too. So that is very extreme, their thoughts are very extreme. The Buddha said it is not that we wear the clothes due to the attachment. We have to wear the clothes just to be civilized, right? So they went so extreme, went to so extreme areas of life. So you see that Jain Mahavira does not wear. So also his followers. So these teachers were very famous. They are very famous. They have actually taught different philosophies about self. Now this I would explain one here. Purana Kassapa said there is no problem to kill anybody. There is no problem to not to kill anybody also. So we call it like he says, good karma also okay, bad karma is also okay. So we call it amoralism. There is no morality. To kill also okay, not to kill also okay. To lie also okay, not to lie also okay. He's that kind of a person. But there were people for him, right? There were people. It's like Shoko Asahara in Japan. Young people really like him, who set some subway stations to be bombed many years ago. Young people are very vulnerable, intellectually vulnerable. So it's easy to intellectually misuse their thoughts. So this teacher, he did that. Anyway, so all these are making their own thoughts. Now, coming back to the story. So the Brahmin Vachagotta said to the Buddha, Bhante, you had said in your talks, if you want to give dana, don't give to these famous 6 teachers, only give it to me. If you cannot find me, then you should only find my monks or nuns, and not to give any food to any disciples of these 6. Then the Buddha said, that is really untrue. I have never said something like that. Now, you might have also thought like that. If you want to give a dana, you have to only give to Sangha and the Buddha. Buddha himself rejects that. Then the Buddha said something interesting about those 2 words, Chanda Nikaya, Oligalla. Let's go there. That's why I wanted to say that. Here. Then the Buddha wanted to tell him the bare minimum level of the dana. Now you might be perhaps wondering, what is the minimum level of a dana? Have you ever thought about that? Or you might have simply given dana to certain groups of monastic members, or you may have been practicing dana in your own way. But the Buddha says that there is a minimum level to practice dana, very bare minimum level. Where can you practice dana in a very bare minimum way? He said like this, Yepite Chanda Nikayava Oligalleva Pana Tatrapiyo Saravaduvanangva Taliduvanangva Saravaduvanangva Chaddeya Tatohang Vacha Vadami Dana. That means if somebody, after eating food, at that time there were no sinks like in modern world, so they go to throw away their whatever the leftover in their plates into these 2 places, Chandanikaya and Oligalla. So while doing so, if they can think to themselves, may any beings that are living in those Chandanikaya or Oligalla, sewages or cesspools, can depend on these leftover, that is the starting point of the dana. That means whenever you go wash your plates, probably there are certain leftovers. But if you can wish, may any micro organism that is living, that I cannot see through my naked eyes, depend on these leftover, that is the starting point of dana. The word dana. That means how often you can do dana. How many times you go to the sink. Not even 3 times a day, maybe whenever you wash your hands, maybe whenever you have your snacks, whatever, you always go and wash your hands also. If any microorganism living down the pipeline, sewage line, drainage line can depend on these leftover, you are making the first level of your dana. If you think about dana like this could be the dana for the monks and Buddha. This is the starting point. Oligalla and Chandanika, if somebody is going to do as such. That is a side story. Yeah? So it's very interesting to understand these 2 words. But the Buddha said, do not go to places where there is an open Chandanika, open Oligalla. Because cesspools, you might fall into those places, you might die. Right? Okay, so now, so far we have been discussing about certain animals to avoid and certain places to avoid. What are the animals? Wild elephant, wild horse, wild bull, wild dog, snake, stump, a bramble patch, a chasm, a cliff, a cesspool, and an open sewer. Not even these things that we have to avoid. There are other aspects of our life to avoid. What are they? Yata rupe anasane nisinna. Be careful when you sit down in certain places. What are those places? He avoids sitting in the sorts of unsuitable seats. Have you ever encountered any problems when you were to sit on different chairs, places? Huh? You may have experienced that probably the cushion was not properly fixed. Maybe issues with the chair, you might have fallen. The moment that something happens to you while you were going to sit, you feel like, I should have not sit here, right? I should have not come to this particular chair. So you may have certain, certain conflicting thoughts that I should have not sit over here. So that kind of sitting in unnecessary places, unsuitable seats, would have created dosa. Right? Now we can think about Uchchasayana Mahasayana, right? The last precept of the 8th precept. Uchchasayana Mahasayana. Now Uchchasayana Mahasayana, the Nachagita Vayata Visuka Dasana and Vikala Bhojana, they are not very, so much, obstructing precepts to the practice. But at times you take them, like how you took during the retreat. But the idea of Uchchasayana Mahasayana is that you are not going to sit on places where you feel so much sensuality on that day. So just to keep track of your sensuality in terms of the seats. So sitting on unnecessary places, right? What are the other unsuitable places to sit? Sitting on an uneven log, you might fall. Sitting on a branch of a tree, unsuitable seat. Other places? Sitting on a tool that is not properly even balanced. Yeah, other places to sit, like not good ones. There are many places that people might sit. Finally, they feel it is not a good place to sit. So whenever you are going to sit on an unsuitable place, unsuitability comes from different areas. Maybe faulty damage of the chair, or probably other issues with that chair. Then not even the seats, but also yatarupe asane and sinnang yatarupe agochare charantang. Wandering to the sorts of unsuitable habitats. Do not go to unnecessary places, especially at untimely hours. Right? When you go to unnecessary, let's say you are going to walk in a crime neighborhood at night, then you might meet the good guys, in the hood. They say, this is our hood. You have to be careful, So, walking and then roaming, Buddha said in the Singalavada Sutta, right? He said that. He said, do not walk in the places at unseemly hours. You might meet bad guys. You never know. So avoid those places, not even at night. Probably crime neighborhoods. Probably neighborhoods of other problems. Every country has that kind of a place. Right? Every country, whatever the country, Western or Eastern. Mostly. Avoid those places. Because once you bump into the wrong person, wrong place, then you are having lots of those, right? You are self-hating yourself, you are hating them a lot, right? Lot of those are coming up, arising. Okay, now bad, unsuitable seats, unsuitable places, and then very interestingly, this is very interesting. Yatarupe papake mitte bhajantan. Vinyu sabrahmachari papakesu tanesu okappeyu. You can see the translation. Associating with the sorts of bad friends that would make his knowledgeable friends in the holy life suspect him of evil conduct. Now let's say you already have kalyana mittas, right? But suddenly you get to know bad people, papa mittas. So your kalyana mittas are not happy about your new friendships. Right? You might say, that is my right, that is my freedom, I want to be able to be with anybody. But the problem is, Kalyana Mittas will be distancing from you at that point. So you are in the hands of the bad friends. Who are the bad friends in Buddhism? Let's talk about friendship a little bit. Very interesting topic in Buddhism. Friendship. Friendship, because metta is also part of friendship. What is the term for friend in Buddhism? Mitta. Mitta. Mitta means friends. Mitto mitta. Mitto means friend. Mitta, friends. This will become metta, right? Right? So this will, the state of mind of mitta becomes metta. So how do we understand friendship? Now there was a yakka called Alavaka. I think you know his name, Alavaka, who became a Sotapanna after listening to Dhamma. Actually, he said to the Buddha, I have some questions that nobody answered in my generation. So if you don't answer me, I would fling you to the other side of the universe. Then the Buddha said, you won't be able to do that, but I will answer your questions. He was very humble, right? He's not going to challenge anybody. So one of the questions that he asked was, Katang mittani gantati. Katam means how in English. Katang mittani. These guys, Mittani gantati. Gantati means how to receive friends. This is one of the questions Alavaka asked from the Buddha. Then, how do you think? What do you think the answer? What is your answer? If Alavaka is here, if you wrongly answer, he would do that to you. Right? So, how to make friendships? Friendships. Very interesting question, right? Very relating to all of us, because we would like to have good friends. So, how? What do you think in your own way? Then we talk about the Buddha's answer. You must have your own ways, how to make your own friendships. No, it's nothing. It's just a Facebook mutual connection. Mutual. Some people, how did you get to know this? Yeah, Facebook. Right? This is some modern ways. So, Katam mittani gantati. How to make friends. Actually, today, young people have this issue. If you ask them, they haven't met them, but they have lots of friends online. Not many of them have true friends, physical friends like this. Many friends with no face. Yes. But it's Facebook. No face, no Facebook. So, what is your answer? Let's ask from some of you. What would you think? How to make friends? Very simple question. Huh? Supportive. Mm-hmm. Be the friend of?
Be the friend that you want a friend with.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay.
If you want the person to be, for example, happy, so you find you be a happy person.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good, good. Others? How do you make your friends? Or how have you made your own friends so far? Yeah? Give good advice. Uh-huh. So that means a counselor should have a lot of friends. Isn't it? If you are a counselor, psychologist, so you meet a lot of people. Okay, that's how you think. Others? Huh? Equals. Uh-huh. Equals, mutual stuff, reciprocal stuff. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Similar values. Okay. Care and concern. And then? Others? Pardon me? Like-minded ones. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Actually, the question is more likely not how to choose them. Now, I think it seems to be that some people have gotten in a way that how to choose them. Now, you're looking at whether this person has my mind, my same states. I'm asking, how are you able to make friends? Not that how to choose them. Like, just because you are doing all these counseling, equal mindsets, caring, they will not be friendly with you, isn't it? No. Okay. Pen pals, huh? At that time? Pen pals? Uh-huh. Okay. Do you have lots of friends too, this way? You already have lots of friends this way? Let's be real. I mean, whether what you think has worked out for us individually. Good. Anyways, others? So otherwise, I think that you don't know how to make friends. This is my observation at the end. Yes.
Business transaction.
Business?
Transaction.
Business transactions. Okay. Yeah. There's ways.
Join societies.
Join societies. Fellowships. Brotherhoods, fellowships. Yeah. Okay.
Some people go to church.
Yeah. And Viharas, Buddhist centers. Others? This must be a torturing question. Probably. Let's find the answer of the Buddha. See. Same. Dadang mittani gantati. If you are generous, you will make friendships. It's pretty easy. If you are generous. Generosity is the starting point. Huh? Yeah, maybe initially a smile. And over time, things are happening that you help them, maybe they help you, maybe sharing food. I mean, how these normal friendships are getting started, right? Now, deciding what kind of friends should be kept in my life will be a future step. Then you know them for some time. Sometimes you don't feel like you should not take them closer. Sometimes you feel, no, they are really worthy enough to, get them to closer, areas of life. So dadam. Katang mittani gantati dadam mittani. Now, we understand here, so you have to avoid bad friends. That's what it says. Bad friends. But this has to be done within a certain context, because we are not going to isolate anybody. We are not going to say that you are a papa mitta, so I have to avoid you. How to do that? Now you understand there is someone who is really bad, but you still have to keep metta, right? So we cannot go out of the metta practice. For those who came to the retreat knew that we cannot wish suffering of anybody in Buddhism. Why? The Buddha said in the Metta Sutta, we have a wish in a certain stanza saying that let no one wish others unhappiness. Whatever happened in our life, whether they betrayed us, whether they cheated on us, we wish them happiness, but we are having a certain distance because we understand that it's not going to work for us. But as Buddhists, we cannot wish anybody's unhappiness, right? So what could be the first thing that you feel when you are cheated? That somebody cheats on you. You find it out in your those surveillance, huh? So investigation, surveillance. So what would you do at that point? That person is still good to you, but you find out something wrong in a good channel, huh? Then how would you respond? Most people, they break their inner peace. They're going to curse, unfortunately, right? Because they feel so like on one side mad, on one side they are very hurt. So we have to be very careful, because if they want to go that way, let them go. You should not ruin your good qualities. If you are a good person, never ever let anything happen in a way to destroy your good qualities. You will find good people one day. But just because of that, don't try to react to these people in that way. So we have to have metta all the time. But while keeping metta, when we are going to get to know people, we get to know. But when you want to bring them closer to your intimacy, you are trying to understand whether they are good friends or bad friends. So Buddha talks about 4 good friends. 4 good friends, and then if there are 4 good friends, there should be 4 bad friends too. So if you this is why I asked you to read Sigalovada Sutta, your sutta, lay people's sutta. A lot of people, they don't read this sutta. They are going to read a very deep one, Satipatthana Sutta. If you want to go to mindfulness, you should read your lay version. They want to catch that higher sutta. Now the only problem is they want to attain Nibbana. Their lay life is a mess. Their parental relationship, spouse relationship, all are gone. They are not good, but they are trying to hit on this mindfulness in the first place. Not going to work. Sigalovada Sutta. Sigalovada Sutta. This sutta is called the discipline of the lay people. Discipline of the lay people. So if you bypass this sutta and go to that kind of any other sutta, your life is not going to work spiritually. That's why I always tell people, don't learn monastic Buddhism. Learn lay Buddhism first. One day when you come to a certain level, you can decide. But nowadays, they all hear, life is anicca, life is dukkha, life is anatta, everything is karma, you have to go to Nibbana. Huh? That's what you were told. So I'm saying, cut down on this first. Learn these suttas first. And then come to that point after some time. So this is a deviation actually, right? Something to learn. This is Digha Nikaya, I can't remember the number, DN, one number actually, you can read that. So this sutta says there are 4 good friends, 4 bad friends. Hopefully we can remember their names. First one is Anya Dattu Hara. Anya Dattu Hara. This is it has to be a bad friend. Start from here. I always look at the good side. Anya Dattu Hara. Anya Dattu Hara means, don't worry, you can read the sutta later. There is a friend who comes to you always to take something away from you. But he or she never gives something back to you. Have you found such people? They are always takers, not givers. Takers. Takers version. This happens in other connections too, right? You find a lot of takers, not givers. Giving is very important, right? So, we have another English name called rapacious friend. Rapacious friend. Who always want to take things away from you, your knowledge, your money, whatever you have, food. They always come and ask things and they never contribute. And the second one is Vachi Parama. We call them a lip service friend, huh? Not technically, yeah? Lip service friend. That means he or she will never help you, but mostly a talker. That means when you ask something from Vachi Parama friend, what that friend will say is that, if you had come 1 week ago, I would have given you money or whatever. Then, so he is going to treat you from the past. Then let's say he cannot do it, she cannot do it, then he or she might say, if you come in a month of time, I will give it to you. But he or she will never give it to you. These are just talks. So Vachi Parama means is merely helping you with that kind of a word, Vachi Parama. Anya Dattu Haru, Vachi Parama. Right? Then, what do you call, Apaya Sahaya. Apaya Sahaya means, what do you call, the one who is squandering your money. Let's go to the sutta so we can see a good sense of the information. Digha Nikaya, they call 31. It's a very early Buddhist sutta, Digha Nikaya. 6 directions, 4 grounds, 6 drawbacks of friends. Fake friends, you can see them. You can see them over here. If we had to go to the Pali version, better. Yeah, Anya Dattu Hara is the first one, as you can see. And then, who's the other one? Anuppiyabani, that's the third one. Anuppiyabani means, whenever you say a good thing, he approves that. Whenever you say a bad thing also, he approves that. That Purana Kassapa strategy. This guy's friends. Good and bad, they all are same. So we call them Anuppiyabani. Anuppiyabani means he or she approves everything what you say. Actually, some friends are liking that. Whatever I say, my friend likes it. Even I say, go and break in a bank, was okay. Huh? They like it because my friend is okay to anything. That's a wrong thought, actually. Right? My friend should stop me in doing bad thing. Otherwise, what is that friendship for, right? So they are using a word, he or she is my, what is that word? Friend in crime? What is that word? They use a word for that. Partner in crimes. That's a different context. But so, Anuppiyabani means that your friend is a bad friend, endorses, approves everything what you say. good or bad. He doesn't care about your morality. Then the good side, upakaraka, samana sukha dukkha. Even I write these things, you have to go check the sutta, right? I just make it curious for you. Samana sukha dukkha, upakarocha yomitto, yeah. Then the last one is attakkai. I have to see the third friend, I can't remember. Probably we can see over here. Yeah, those are bad friends. Yeah, suhada mittas, you can see. Samana sukha dukkha. Anukampaka. Anukampaka friend. Now we will see who they are actually. Anukampaka. Upakaraka means he or she is very supportive to you. You do one help, he or she will do that help in multiple ways. Good friends are like that, right? And the samana sukha dukkha means the friend who is always checking your happiness every day. Do you have such friends? Are you doing okay? Is everything going well? We feel happy, huh? When somebody asks like that. The right person, huh? We expect that from the right person, not from the wrong person. Right? That is such a blessing to all of us, if we have. Then, anukampaka. Anukampaka means the empathetic friend, who is always empathizing, trying to put our pain in their own shoes, right? That kind of empathy is very important, right? Then attakkai means a good counselor, which you said, a good counselor. We should have this kind of a friend in our life, right? Because time to time our life can go to different wrong areas. Deviation can happen to all of us. So if we have a good attakkai friend, we call a counselor. So we can get a good advice from that person, right? So an expanded version of this is kalyana mitta, attakkai. So this sutta is such an interesting sutta, right? I don't know why a lot of people don't know about this. Why maybe nobody teaches from this sutta, right? I will show you other things of this sutta just to make some interest in English. You can see here, fake bad friends, good friends, covering the 6 directions. That means the relationships between parents and children, children and parents and all that. Right? So please give some thoughts about it. Digha Nikaya 31. Now going back, we will see here what you call you should not associate bad friends. Why it is not good to associate bad friends? Those ones. Anjadattuhara, Vachi Parama, Anupiya Bani, and Apaya Sahaya, because friends play a bigger role in our life. Why? If you talk to that friend for long, then their ideas will affect our ideas. Right? It happens. Remember, there's an interesting story. There was a royal elephant in a Jataka story. He was a good elephant. But since couple of days, week of time, the elephant shows a limping. Right? One leg, he's also showing some limping with one leg. Then everybody was very concerned about this. Even the king asked, what happened to this elephant? He's a royal elephant. It didn't happen to this elephant in my lifetime, king was saying. Then they were finding out what happened. So they found out the mahout, the person who is training the elephant, has a limp. The elephant imitates his limp now. Interesting, huh? Even elephants so they could not find why the elephant is limping. It's because the mahout's limp, he was slowly observing that thing. He said, I also must do that one. So that means this same incident happens to us in the long run. If you ask from many people, how did you start smoking? It was a herd moment. It was not that he went to the shop and bought a packet of cigarettes. It was when that he was with friends started smoking, that affected me, I also smoke. Now it keeps going. Herd problem. If you look at certain people who drown in the ocean places, it was not that he went alone. If he had gone alone, then he would have safely do the diving and thing and would have come back to the shore. But if he went with other friends, then you want to show the adventures in the ocean, and you would die in that. That means friends, group of people really affect our life in a good way or a bad way. So we have to understand that in a more practical way, not as a historical, doctrinal point of view. Even if you look at the Buddha stories, life of the Buddha, we can see that. Even the Mahamangala Sutta, the very interesting blessing sutta, starts by saying, friends are the first blessing. Right? Friends are the first blessing. If you don't find the right friends, then those ones are the downfall of your life. How did the Buddha say that in Pali? Can somebody remember the Mangala Sutta? Yeah, in Pali, how do we say that? That's up to the monks. They chant for us, so why do we have to? The country is up to the soldiers or to the politicians. Buddha Sasana is up to the monks. We are just beneficiaries, isn't it? Nothing is up to anybody. They might do a certain role. So we have to learn. We say, Asevanacha Balanang. These are the Buddha's true words. Asevanacha Balanang Panditanancha Sevana. That means, Asevanacha. That means, avoid the company of the Balanam. Bala means, let's be civilized, unwise. Unwise people, right? Might call foolish, stupid, but let's walk away from that. So we are going to walk away from the unwise people. Right? They may be foolish in the secular way, but unwise. Then Asevanacha Balanam Panditanancha Sevana. Keep the company of the wise people. Now, who is a wise person? Actually, that wisdom, wise friend, goes beyond that attakai. He's not normally a good friend. He's more than a good friend. I would say more than, I think, the higher version of attakai friend. Good friend. How did the Buddha say about a good friend? You have to go to Sevitabba Sutta. Another sutta. Sevitabba Sutta. This one, Majjhima Nikaya 114. This sutta clearly explains about it, which means how to spot a Kalyana Mitra, especially a Pandita or Sappuris, actually. The expanded version of Attakai. More likely to a Kalyana Mitra. Someone who always thinks good thoughts. Someone who always acts with good actions. Someone who always speaks good words. This is a Sappurisa, Pandita, or a wise person. So what are the good thoughts? What are the good speeches? What are the good actions then? What is that? Precepts. Precepts are not connected to become a good person. Precepts are good for one's spiritual practice. This is about Sappurisa Pandita. Precepts are a self-discipline. I always say precepts are about self-discipline. You have to be honest to yourself. We cannot monitor, right? Nobody can monitor you. Right? This is higher than the precepts. You know whether you have the precept or not, right? Others don't know, right? That is become honest. But in Buddhism, the Buddha talks about something higher than the precepts. Actually, if you look at precepts, the Mahavira is the one who taught precepts in a very strategic, high way, not the Buddha. The fifth teacher is very specific about the rules. The Buddha said, we don't need rules. What we want is self-discipline. Because if you are not honest to yourself, your practice will not grow. Now, if you look at your life, last probably 10, 20 years, I think you already know certain dhammas. But why you don't feel the transformation is not happening? It's because we have not been honest to us in the first place. So it's a self-discipline. Other people cannot do anything to you, right? It's about us. Now, what are the good thoughts? What are the good actions? What are the good speeches? Now, I would have to think that if you don't know them, you yourself are not sappurisas then. That means you don't know them, isn't it? This is why we have to learn the Buddha's suttas from the proper place. That is why we go here and there. What are the good thoughts? Anabijja, avyapada, sammaditthi. There are three main skillful thoughts. What are they? Anabijja. Anabijja means absence of covetousness. Then avyapada, absence of ill will. Then sammaditthi means right view. These are the higher thoughts somebody can practice in his or her life. What else? Can precept give us this understanding? Precept generally, we need precepts too, but precept will generally make you a normal person. Other than that, it does not affect largely, highly about your mind. And 5 precepts were not Buddha's intervention. Keep that in mind. It's not Buddha's one. It's a Hindu. Buddha just modified that. The Buddha's one is 10 kusala. 10 kusala. Now I already shared with you 3 things about mind. 3 kusalas about the thoughts. Then 4 kusalas for the speech. No musavada, no pisunavacha, no parusavacha, no sampappala. You don't lie. You don't divide people, passing wrong information. And you don't talk in a way to hurt other people. Don't even hurt yourself. Right? And then you don't gossip. You don't waste other people's time and your time. So those are the 4 good speeches. That means speaking the truth, always talking to unite people, bring people together. And don't learn from the politicians, because they are dividing people all the time, ethnically, religiously, to get votes. But you are trying to unite people, your family members, your relatives, friends, whoever, in a good way. And then you are trying to speak very cordial, charming, pleasant words. Whatever you talk, they are going to be very pleasant. People like people who talk very pleasant words. They don't hear that. Right? They don't hear that from their loved ones all the time. So they like somebody talk nice way. And then talking something virtuous all the time. Right? And then what are the good actions? Trying to save other beings, not killing. Trying to save what other people have, belongings. And not to sexually misbehave. You can behave sexually well, but not to misbehave sexually. Right? So, if somebody always thinks those 3 good thoughts, that means absence of covetousness, and absence of ill will, absence of micchaditti, wrong view, then now that person is partially, provisionally becoming a sappurisa. Thought-wise, not yet fully. Then if somebody always speaking the truth, always trying to bring people together, not creating division in wherever that person is going to be with, Always trying to speak in a kind, nice, pleasant, charming way. Always. Not as a rule. Right? Some people do it as a rule. Buddha said like this, so we have to do. Not just the Buddha said. Yes, Buddha said, I have to understand by myself what are the consequences of speaking good words. Right? I have to do my own search. The Buddha said, he laid the foundation, but I have to understand why he said so. How to do it in my own life. Right? And then finally, speaking virtuous conduct. So if anyone is trying to speak these 4 words all the time, now he or she is going to complete another section of that Sappurisa. And not killing, not stealing, not misbehaving. His or her actions are always with not killing, not stealing, not misbehaving sexually. Now, this is what we call a Sappurisa. Now, can you find a Sappurisa like that in your life? Be honest to you. Can you find that kind of a Sappurisa in your life easily? Not easy. That is why it is an auspicious thing. If it is that easy, then it's not going to be auspicious. Right? Good things are not that popular, not easy to find. Then who is the Bala? The complete opposite of these 10 things. Always lying, doing all the bad things. So going back, you can see here, you are not going to associate bad friends, but still you are keeping your metta with them. Don't try to isolate, don't try to say bad things to them. They are bad. You are not able to change them. Right? In one sutta, Buddha said, what if that you are with somebody who is not, who is doing the bad things to you? Then at least think about one good thing that they have done for you. One small good thing. Don't pick up the bad stuff. One small. Maybe one day he talked to me like this. Maybe he or she guided me to a certain small thing, but it is a very big thing for me. Right? Think about that. What if that you cannot find any good thing of that person? Then the Buddha said, wish him her wisdom. Never hate. Wish him her wisdom. May you have wisdom one day. May you be able to get out of these messy thought structures. But never hate that person. That means, now whenever you found out your good friends, whenever you found out these are not good to be with them, you are slowly going to keep your safe distance, but still you are practicing your metta. Right? Not saying that you are such a papa mitta, which the Buddha said. Don't come to me. Right? That is not the Buddhist way. Alright, so now you are going to avoid wild elephant. Now you don't find these elephants, I'm telling you. Certain animals, depending on the place where you are living. Right? You must have elephants somewhere here, right? In Malaysia? Somewhere in the middle of the country. Wild elephants, wild horses, wild dogs, right? Poisonous snakes, and then all these things like, shrubs, stumps, then bramble patches, then what you call chasm, cliff, then those sewage places, cesspool, and then open sewage. Not even them, you are also going to avoid unnecessary seeds, which will bring you pain. Not even the damaged, faulty seeds, but also let's say you have a health problem. You are going to sit on that particular chair and then you will come up with a back pain. Now you are going to come up with a lot of anger and dosa. Right? Now a lot of people, when they go to a hotel, because you don't find your comfort zone in the hotel, then you are always saying until the morning, this pillow is not going to work for me. Right? You are complaining the whole night. Right? Because you can't get out of your pillow. Maybe you have a health issue. You bought a specific pillow. So, not even then the seats, but also your bed. Right? So try to find that suitable place. Otherwise, you will keep complaining. Finally, you will come up with full of dosas, anger. Not even the seats, but also not going to unnecessary places, crime neighborhoods, unnecessary places. And finally, we talk about not going to be with Papa Mittas. Then what does it say over here? Yanyis bhikkave aparivajjayato uppajjayung asava vigata parilaha parivajjayato evansati asava vigata parilaha nahun. When somebody is trying to avoid these animals, these people, these things, these seeds, unnecessary places, that person is going to minimize unnecessary akusalas coming up. Because these unnecessary places, people bring you to certain dosas, hatred. You are in conflict with, you are resisting to those things, and then anger arises. So if you avoid these people, things, areas, more or less accordingly, you will minimize those akusalas. So now avoiding works in a very specific context. Now I want to show you what is the Buddha's normal idea about avoiding. So I want to show you a sutta. Indriya Bhavana Sutta, Majjhima Nikaya 152. Majjhima Nikaya's last sutta, Indriya Bhavana. Now there is a conversation between somebody called Uttara and the Buddha. Deseti bo Gotama Paraseviyo Brahmano Savakanang Indriya Bhavanadi. Now Uttara is a follower of a very famous Brahmin called Parasariya. Parasariya, actually, his name Parasariya. Parasariya Brahmin teaches people how to take care of your senses. Your eyes, your ears, nose, tongue, body, thoughts. Now, he says to Buddha, the Buddha said to him, Uttara, does Parasariya teach his disciples the development of the faculties, Indriya? He does, Gautama. How does he teach it? Idabo Gautama Chakuna Rupangna Passati. He teaches his followers, do not see things with your eyes. Close your eyes all the time. Then no problem, right? You don't see bad people, wrong things, right? All the problems that are happening through your eyes. So Tera Saddangna Sunati. Probably they're going to shut down their ears like this. Then you don't hear any sound. That is his way of taking care of senses. Evan Kobo Gotama Deseti Para Seviyo Brahmano Savakanang Indriya Bhavana. Master Gotama, it's when the eye sees no sight and ear hears no sound. That is how Parasariya teaches his disciples the development of the faculties. Now we have to develop our senses. How to develop them? Don't worry about the Pali text. I'm translating that. How do we understand the teaching of senses in Buddhism? Senses. We call them indriyas. Indriyas. How do we understand them? There are two ways to understand. One is physical, the other one is spiritual. Clear? So we have physical senses, we have spiritual senses. How many physical senses do we have? 6. What are they? Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, mind. In Pali, Chakku, ears mean Sota. Sota, nose, Ghana, tongue, Jivha, body, Kaya, mind, Mano. Now, what are the spiritual senses? What are they? Spiritual. We all have these 6 more or less. There are 5 spiritual senses. They are not visible. They are working on a development base. What are they? Saddha. Then Viriya, Sati, Samadhi, Panya. Don't get confused. These are not the lofty states of the mind. Now, what do I mean by lofty? Now, lofty means Saddha has to go to Sotapanna level. That is a lofty level of Saddha. Virya has to go to Samma Vayama, right effort. So that will become lofty. Now, but this Virya is normal Virya. Sati has to go to Nibbana. This is not that Sati. Samadhi has to go to Jhanas. This is not that lofty Samadhi. Panya has to go to Nibbana. But this is not that Panya. So these are just certain mental states that we need to develop over time. That means we should have trust about us and Buddha Dhamma Sangha. Virya means we should have a certain effort to balance out. We should have a certain awareness of how we do things in our life. We should have a certain concentration whenever we are doing things. We should have a certain wisdom to do things. So then senses are twofold. Now let's go to the sutta. Now Buddha says his way of taking care of the senses. Katama Chananda Ariyassa Vinaye Anuttara Indriya Bhavana Hoti. I would read and translate for you. Bhikkhuno, this is the Buddha's way of how to take care of your senses. These senses, pretty much these ones, physical one. Chakkuna Rupan Disva Uppajjati Manapang. Now Buddha says, whenever you see a person, thing with your eyes, then you will see that it is a likable rupa, likable person, likable thing. Uppajjati Amanapang. Sometimes you will see it is a dislikable person. A person that you don't like. Maybe a thing you don't like. Sometimes you will feel uppajjati manapa amanapa. Sometimes you are like mixed. Maybe I like, maybe I don't like. Some rupas are likable, some rupas are dislikable, some rupas are both likable, dislikable. In simple English, sometimes when you see somebody you like, sometimes when you see somebody else you don't like, dislike. Sometimes you feel you have a mixed emotion. You like at the same time, no, I don't like. Right? The Buddha said, understand, feel that. Do not shut down. Feel it. That's what he said. Chakkuna rupan disva uppajjati manapang. Manapa means like. Amanapang, dislike. Amanapang, like, dislike at the same time. Now, the most important thing coming up. So, evam pajanati. Uppannang ko me idam manapang, uppannang amanapang, uppannang manapa amanapang, tanchako sankatang olarikam patisamuppanna. This is how we are going to do about our, taking care of our senses. The Buddha said to us, whenever you understand you like that person, or you don't like that person, or whether you like and dislike that person, you must bring that understanding to this place. The ola sankatam means condition. That like arises from a conditional thought. Why? How is it conditioned? Now I see somebody, I feel I like that person. How is it conditioned? Maybe I interpret that person, this person, right? With my past experience, I think he is better than those previous one. So they are connected together. This is one way. Other way, I struggle with my own interpretations about sanya. Then I make a decision. I like this person. In the same way, dislike. According to my past sanya, I don't like this person. Right? And there are conditional factors such as interpretation on one side. On the other side, we understand that conditions help me to choose people. Mostly our likes and dislikes are conditional. Like they are arisen because of certain condition, environmental condition, other condition. So I have to always understand when the like arises, when the dislike arises, when the like-dislike arises, it is condition. And then olarikang. And these likes, dislikes, and likes, dislikes are subject to the patisamuppada. When you reflect like this about any sensory experience, through eyes, through ears, through nose, through any rupa, through any sounds, then smells, taste, touch, thoughts, when you reflect like this, that they are sankata, they are conditioned, they are subject to patisamuppada, then what will happen in your mind? Etang, santang, etam, panitang, you will go to upekha. You will go to a balanced state of mind. You are not either liked by it, whether you are not disliked by it. You are going to a upekha level. That is the Buddha's way of practicing indriya sangvara. So Buddha never said, shut down your eyes, don't see objects, right? Because whenever you see somebody, whenever you hear something, you will like or dislike, it's okay. But the problem is, if you don't bring that like and dislike to conditionality and the patisamuppada, thereby you are going on to upekha. If you don't come to this place, then you are out of the process. So Buddha never said, you cannot make a like, you cannot make a dislike. They are normal, they are happening. Now, today's topic, avoidance. This is a very exclusive context. So we avoid in a very certain context. Other than that, we are not avoiding any of our sensory experience. We are going to practice this methodology. We will like, we will dislike, we will like, dislike, but we have to understand all these likes, dislikes, and both are subject to the conditionality. They all are made by something else, my past interpretations and all that. All right, any questions? Any questions? This has been given in the note. Any questions about today's topic? And we discuss sometimes we have to avoid some people, some animals, some things just to protect us from creating dosa. But that is a very contextual teaching, because the Buddha's main idea is we are not supposed to avoid, we have to practice this without avoiding, accept likes and dislikes, but we have to bring that knowledge of conditionality, that they all are conditioned, my interpretations and everything, and then bringing us onto the upekha, the perfect balance of the mind. Any questions? Yes.
Paticca Samuppada.
Yeah. In fact,
that's where the cause and
conditionality,
effects,
cause and effect.
Eventually, by understanding.
Because let's say I like somebody, then I have to understand my like has a cause. And now that cause creates me to like this person as an effect. Now, doing so, I am creating another cause in my thought structure. Right? So if somebody thinks that my like or my dislike or my like-dislike has no conditionality before that, no connection to another previous thing, then that is the wrong way of practicing sensory experience. So every time you may like, you may dislike, don't worry about it, just go for it. But you have to think that if I like it, then this likeness, this like is subject to the conditionality and the dependent origination.
So when the feeling arises, we just don't attach to it, don't personalize it.
No, you will personalize more or less. That is why you are making it to a like. Isn't it? Now Buddha says, uppajjati manapang. How come we get a preference to that particular person? That means I have already personalized that person. Right? But the thing is that even though you personalize, because it happens naturally, it's not that you want. Sometimes you don't like people, but because you get to see those people, likeness naturally starts. It's okay. But the problem is, if you do not bring that likeness, to this conditional thought. That means my likeness is conditioned by something else. Right? Let's say you had lot of bad experiences with somebody. Suddenly you find someone who is giving a completely opposite situation. Right? But then you are going to like that person. But that likeness is conditioned by those bad experiences which happened to you before.
So Bhante, if you are going to cling to the like and dislike, then how are we going to practice upekkati?
No, nobody is going to cling to anything here. It is simply a like. You have not brought it to tanha. What I am trying to say is that like and dislike, they are not carrying all the time akusala. Like and dislike are normal states of mind. Let's say there is a wild dog coming onto our hall now. Going to probably bite us. So we all don't like it. That is not akusala. So we have to save ourselves. Right? So we are creating a akusala. Not akusala, we are creating a dislike. A simple dislike. But if you bring lot of thoughts about that dislike in a probably in an extreme way, you will bring to dosa. Let's say I want to eat food that I like. Is it akusala? No, it is not. It is my like. Let's say I want to take a shower, I want to take care of myself. It is not akusala. I think I will show you a flyer I made long time ago from my blog. Then we can finish. That's a good flyer actually. Likes and dislikes. The intensification of likes and dislikes, which I made in 2021 during COVID time. You can see here the level 1. I mean, normally when we are interacting with people, things in our life, we normally come up with likes and dislikes. They are perfectly okay. They are not carrying akusala. But when you develop them too much, then the like will become a lobha, dislike will become a dosa. And if you further develop those two, your lobha will become abhijja, covetousness, and your dosa will become vyapada. And you can see people are suffering down there. So like and dislike, they are okay. I don't think that they are personalizing a lot. It is just a natural thing. But once you understand you have a like or a dislike, you must bring it to conditionality. I like this person, I like that sound, I like that smell, I like that taste because I have a previous sanya about the same person. So because of that, I have gone to this thing. So then I know that this is conditional, this is subject to patissamuppada. The moment that you are going to reflect as such, you are definitely going on to upekka side, not to further developments of that like or dislike. So like and dislike, they are not fundamentally initially akusala. Any other questions? Because I think most people describe likes and dislikes are naturally bad. Right? They are natural. It can be. This is why we have to learn Indriya Bhavana Sutta. Then we have a like to become Nibbana, right? It is also going to be bad. We have a like to become a better person. We have a like to take care of our family. It should be bad because we have a certain attachment to my family. You have a certain attachment to your husband, wife. It should be bad. No. The problem is whenever you are not able to bring your like or like dislike onto the conditionality, patissamuppada. Why am I like this? Why is this like coming up at this point? Right? All right, it seems.
So once we have found out the reason, what do we do next? Okay, I like the cause.
Yeah, when the moment you find out the cause means you understand the sankata nature, conditionality. Then once you understood, then your mind will go on to the upekka side. This is what the Buddha says here. Because whenever we don't bring that like or dislike onto the conditionality, our mind will go to intensify like and dislike, making it to a lobha and dosa. Okay. That is what happens. So the moment that you I think not many people do that. Whenever you like somebody, no, I want to search more, investigate more. Like, this is the thought. Like, once you like somebody, I mean, you may have your own lay version. I mean, if you look at Indribhavana Sutta, if you feel that you're liking that person too much, initially a normal like, so you think about, why do I like this person? Because in my personal life, things have happened, and I feel my sanyas, my perceptions that have worked in the past, now going to have a glimpse about this particular event. So I'm going to like this person because of that. My like is dependent upon a cause and an effect. Now I am creating another cause because of this.
So
where you are going, you are heading to that upekka, the lofty upekka. Upekka means you are not shaken by likes and dislikes. But in today's world, you are always worried by likes and dislikes.
Okay.
Isn't it?
So does that mean
you doing something very good? Not many people appreciate you. You feel not happy about it. Why are they not appreciating me? Because you have not developed upekka. Whether they like or not, you are doing a good thing.
So that means once I have already found out why, because you mentioned, okay, I like because, I dislike is because, blah, blah, blah. Or because of this, blah, 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 whatever, that leads on to this.
Not even finding the cause is enough. Now you found out the cause why it happened.
Okay.
That is not enough. So you have to make a connection. Now you know the reason, then you have to understand then what will happen to me if I develop this thought. The reason, you found the reason, now what if I develop now? What will happen again? That means the effect side.
I see, okay.
Yeah.
So you expand on the pro and con now.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so the next week will be my last week in person. That's going to be February 5th. And I think February 13th, we are having, we're going to cancel the class because of your New Year celebrations. And we'll be back again on 19th. So February, we are going to cancel 2 days. One is because the Chinese New Year. The other one is I'm heading back to Canada from Japan. So these two events. So you will be informed. But we'll be on Zoom after next February 5th. Yeah.